Hello guys, welcome to my channel. Today is going to be a busy day for me. I happen to be off from work, and that's such a great thing because tomorrow and Saturday, which is Friday, Saturday, it's expected to be really cold, and they are predicting possible snow. So there are lots of things that I need to do in the garden. One, the strawberries that I placed out in the tree trellis, I think I'm going to bring them back inside, and I'm happy I'm able to do so because they're in pots. And so I will be bringing them back inside because many of them have started flowering and putting on little strawberries, and so I don't want to affect the blooms. Secondly, I planted some spinach and lettuce in the market garden, and I will be covering them up with some plastic containers that I purchased from Lowe's. And also, I sowed seeds for Swiss chard and turnips. I'm not sure if they've come up yet. I don't think they have, but I'll take a look and see. And if they have come up, then what I'll do is I'll simply cover those beds with an old blanket here from around the house. But let's get started. There's lots to do today in preparation for this cold snap that is upon us. And so here is my lettuce that I have growing here in the raised bed. And I've purchased 8 of these storage totes, and they were given to me for $1 a piece because one, they don't have lids, and many of them were very dirty and dusty in the inside. So when I saw them, I was thinking, well, maybe I can use them as a sort of a greenhouse for the lettuce. And so what I'm going to do, since they're predicting snow, is use these totes to cover the lettuce here and also the spinach. And this is just one example here of how it looks when it's covered. And I may have to go back and pick up a few more of them because they had several in a stack, and hopefully they'll still be there if I go back to the store and try to get them. But I think it will do the job in helping me to cover these in case it does snow. I think on Saturday the temperatures are expected to drop down to about 18 at night, and so I will need to cover the spinach here as well. And as you can see, they're doing well since I've planted them. They look like they are, becoming established here in the garden bed. In this bed over here, I planted my potatoes, and I'm not expecting them to come up for another 2, maybe even 3 weeks or so. So I don't think I'm going to need to cover them. And the herbs that surround the potatoes are my oregano and thyme. And in Garden Zone 7A, they are considered perennials. So I'm not concerned about needing to cover them at all. So that's what I'm going to be doing, guys, using those totes to try to cover these up. And I may also place a blanket on top of the totes at night, and then removing the blanket during the day so that it can get sunlight, and then covering it back up again at night. All right, on to the next thing. The next thing I'm going to do, guys, is to just go on and harvest. Well, this one is no good, but I'm going to harvest this one cabbage here and pull out all of the dead stuff, or pull it out and just throw it back on the ground to feed the soil. And also I'm going to try to get what I can from the collards over here, and some of them have started going to seed, as you can see here. So I'm going to see if there's anything worth harvesting and go on and get this bed cleaned out as well. Over there, it looks like the kale has pretty much all died back. And these were all planted in the fall. So for me, going forward, I will not be planting any more fall gardens because they just don't have enough time to mature. And with all the cold and then hot weather and then cold, it makes the plants think that they're in season two, in which they send up seeds. And so going forward, I'll try to plant all that I can during the spring and summer and store away enough food for over the winter. And that way I can focus all my efforts on preparing my beds for the next year and not worry at all about having a fall garden. So this is my harvest. I didn't come out with a container or basket, so I just set them on top of this pot here where I didn't have anything growing. But as you can see, these are collard greens and one tiny cabbage. And what I'm going to do is come back and use my shears and cut the kale and the collards up into little tiny pieces and allow it to nourish the soil. And then when I'm able to get some more soil, I'll just spread the soil on top, and that way the worms can have at it and do what they do. The next thing I'm going to be doing is going over to my strawberry bed over here. And in the strawberry bed, I've planted onions, and a couple of years back, this was a potato bed. But as you can see, I have lost just about all of the strawberries that I had in this bed because they tend to die off after several years anyway. But now that I look at it, and when I look at how the soil level has dropped significantly, I'm thinking about removing the strawberries that I do have in here, placing them in containers, and then using this bed to plant something else this coming spring. And as I stated, this was a full bed of strawberries, and I have counted maybe one, two, three, four, maybe five strawberry plants in all. And I'm going to dig these out and place them in containers. And then that way, when I need to add more soil to the bed, I won't be covering the crown, because that's the thing that you want to protect with strawberries is the crown. And if I was to add more soil to this bed up to the level that I like it to be, then I would be covering the crown. So I think the best thing, in my opinion, for strawberries is to plant them in containers, because with containers, the soil level doesn't drop as much as it does in a raised bed. Okay, so let me get all of my tools, and I'll come back and share with you what I will be doing here in this raised bed. Okay, guys, I'm hoping you can see me pretty well. I have counted five strawberries. One, two, three, four, five. And I have a sedum autumn joy plant here, and also a coneflower. So and a couple of onions. But what I'm going to do is dig out these strawberries and the sedum autumn joy. The strawberries will be going into a planter, and I'm going to put the sedum autumn joy back into the garden. And I might just sacrifice those two onions and get rid of them so that I can build up the soil in this raised bed. Here's one of the strawberries. And this is number two. Here's 3. Number 4. And 5. So now that I have those removed, I can add my soil. And I'm using this busted bag of compost and manure. And here's the third bag. I'm only going to use half and save the other half to put in this planter right here. You know what? I'm going to need that right here. I have another bag. think I'm going to put the Sedum Autumn Joy in this corner over here. So I'm going to dig a little spot for it. This continues to come to the surface, so I'm just going to get rid of it. So this bed has been cleaned out. More soil has been added, and I will be replanting these strawberries. I've also placed my Sedum Autumn Joy back, and this coneflower didn't have enough soil around it to begin with, so I just left it in its place and just added more soil. But now I'm going to be replanting those strawberries into that container there. And there was a strawberry in this crate as well, and as you can see, it's dead, so I can add another strawberry or two to this as well. So what I'm going to be doing now is adding one strawberry plant to this crate, and because what I was using before, I think it was a plastic, black plastic bag, and so of course it has torn. So what I've done is I purchased one of these cocoa coir lining, I think it's called, and I've just basically tore it into pieces so that I could spread it around here just to keep the soil inside. And I'm using this Miracle Grow Performance organic soil container mix, and I've gone on and I've added some to the bottom here, and I'm going to be adding this strawberry plant here, and then backfilling it with more soil. Making sure I'm not covering the crown. And there it is. Now I'm going to do the same to this container over here.
And here you see the bed is cleaned out. I've added more soil around my coneflower, and because they're anticipating snow, I wanted to make sure that all the roots were covered well. I've repositioned the strawberries here and one here in the back. And there was one more that I added to this planter here. And so that has been accomplished. And I've cleaned out the beds over here. At least I've uprooted what was growing in here except for those onions there. But I'm going to chop up these plants a little bit more and cover it with soil, and hopefully it'll add back nutrients to my soil. I didn't get to this bed, but I think I'm going to do that while I'm here. Just go on and pull all of the weeds and the grass out. I'm going to save these for green onion. We're going to go and check on the beds where I planted the turnips and the Swiss chard. Something keeps digging. I don't know what's going on. Okay, I see that the turnips have started germinating, so I will cover this bed. There were about 5 or 6 rows in here, and I see they're coming up in different places, but I don't see anything has come up as of yet in the bed where I planted the Swiss chard. So this is good. It's okay if it gets snow on it. It'll just help to water the seeds and hopefully get it to sprout up as soon as the weather clears up. Okay guys, that's all I have for you today. I want to thank you so much for joining me, and I appreciate the time that you spend watching my videos. I really appreciate it. And guys, I hope that you all are also growing, not just growing food, but growing in every aspect of your life. And just want to say thank you. I appreciate everything that you all do in terms of making comments and inspiring me in so many ways and encouraging me to continue to do what I do. Thank you so much. God bless. Bye-bye.